As I'm writing the book, How to Find Your Divine Soulmate, one of the things that is revealing itself extremely is the fact that what you focus on in your day-to-day life, whether you realize it or not, has a huge impact on the type of person you are in a relationship. Now, this example, this idea can be used to talk about multiple aspects of your life, and you can apply it to many different forms of your life. But the primary thing here is going to talk about the relationship part, what you study, what you focus on. If you've been a client of mine, then you've done a capacity map. And when we do the capacity map, one of the areas we focus on is what are your results? What do you pay attention to? Because where you give your attention will ultimately determine the type of person you are in any given situation. So we're going to explore that just for a little bit. So stay with me, join me, and I appreciate everybody for being here. So what's up, everybody? How you doing? This is your Coach Renz. I want to thank everybody for visiting with me, for spending this time. If you're finding me for the first time, then please hit that subscribe button. Also, follow the fan page if you're on Facebook. And for all my people who are patrons, I really appreciate you guys being Patreons. Now, let's talk about this for a moment. So let me give you a little bit of information. So I was coaching someone recently, and the person is a personal, they do public speaking, right? And in their capacity as a public speaker for their company, they're a trainer for their company, and they do public speaking for their company. One of the things that they encounter very often is the fact that they get nervous. They have anxiety before they get up there and speak. They get into sweats. They have anxious feelings before they get up there and speak. And one of the things she wants to get past is getting rid of this feeling, being able to get rid of that initial fear when she steps up to the podium, when she gets in front of the crowd. Many people claim that public speaking is one of their greatest fears. And I want to teach you guys a little short way of how to eliminate that, but also apply this to your relationships and every other aspect of your life. Because where you give your attention, where your focus is, your perspective on it, is what your results are going to be. Now, I explained to her first that there is no physiological difference between anxiety and excitement. The same audio nervous responses that you give to excitement is the exact same ones that you give to anxiety, to nervousness. The same physical expressions, the same like sweats, the same, heightened movement of blood through your body, the same exuberance is there for excitement and anxiety. They're both the same. The difference is your perspective, your outlook, your thought process on it. So imagine, if you will, if you were getting ready to step out onto the stage. And as you get ready to step out onto the stage, you're thinking, what if they don't like me? What if I mess up my words? What if I forget everything that I'm about to say? What if the information doesn't come across? What if they're just staring at me like zombies? And you start building all these what ifs in a negative format, and you start saying, like, if I forget my lines, if my mind goes blank, if I don't remember the presentation, if the presentation goes away and it doesn't work, you start going through all these what ifs, and all of a sudden you find yourself nervous and all this anxiety, and you get up there and you fulfill the prophecy of forgetting the words and forgetting what you're supposed to say and the order of your presentation, and you sweating all over the place, and you got armpit sweats and back sweats and all these things. If that's your perspective going in, it'll be your results when you're on stage. Instead, why don't we go to the stage? I'm going out there. It's going to be great. They're going to be very receptive to this information because they are looking to have this change in their life. They are looking to take this sales information and go out there and increase their profitability. They are looking to change the leadership in their company and how they lead and how they function, and change the ethos. And what I'm bringing to them, they're going to be excited. It's going to resonate with them at a level that's deep in their core, that's mentally resolute. They're going to be so excited. And when I get up there, all the words, everything's just going to flow. They're going to laugh at my stupid, corny jokes, and everything's going to be great. And you go up there and you're excited, and you walk on that stage and you're like, I'm so excited to be here. Aren't you? I'm so excited that I'm coming here to bring to you this information, that we're going to spend this time share. I'm humbled. I'm so thankful that you're sharing this information with me, that I'm able to share this information with you. I'm so excited. It's the same expressions of body, the same nervousness. The same nervousness feels the same feelings, feel the same. That same excitement, that same anxiety. It's all the same. It's all the same. That feeling in your gut, that feeling in your heart, it's all the same, you know. But it's your perspective that changes it. It's your perspective that changes it. Let's talk about relationships for a moment, because I want this video to really focus on relationship. We're going to spend about 3-4 minutes spending on that, and then we're going to close it out. So in a relationship, I've come to understand through research and watching that what a person gives their time to ultimately determine what type of relationship person they are. I have 2 very hardcore things that I give the majority of my time to. I give my time to business and action activity, but then I give my time to romance. I don't read romance novels, but I read poetry. I read plays. I like to watch movies that shows a loving couple, even if it's an action movie, where's the loving couple? If it's a comedy, where's the loving couple? I'm always searching for the loving couple, the loving romance in whatever movie I'm watching. I'm looking for that. I'm attuned to that. Now, I love business, so I'm looking at the business aspect of every movie, every television show that I watch. I'm looking for every book that I read. I'm looking for it. Now, some books is just business. Some books are just romance. And I'm looking for it. That's where my focus is. So, of course, in a relationship, what type of person I am? Let's get it done, but let's be intimate with each other. Let's share those walks, share those talks. Let's go on these dates. Let's do all these things, but let's get the business done too. Let's make that money. Let's live this lifestyle. You know why? Because if we're making enough money to live a certain lifestyle, we can go do more of the romantic stuff. You understand? You see the connection? That's how it works in this brain, right? So I was thinking about that a few weeks ago, and I did a video a few years ago of a similar nature. But of course, as you grow, more information, more thought process come. And I've started to see studies where whatever happens to a person in their daily activities actually determines their perspective. Tony Robbins speaks of a study that was done where people were handed a hot cup of coffee. 100 people handed a hot cup of coffee and 100 people handed a cold cup of coffee. Then 30 minutes later, they were asked to read a little story. And when they were asked to describe the main character of the story, the ones who 81% of the people who had the warm cup of coffee thought the guy was warm and loving and giving. 80% of the people who had the cold cup of coffee thought he was cold and resistant and had a little stand backishness about him. So what's going on in your life makes a huge difference. What you're watching. If you're watching violent things all day on TV, if you're watching things that show disruptions between marriages, that show anger and frustration within relationships, what do you think you're going to become in a relationship? What do you think your activities, and this is without you even thinking about it. How do you think you're going to be? If you're constantly watching things where people are not loving towards one another, you won't be loving towards your mate. But if you're constantly watching things that show love, you will. Now, I know there's a lot that has happened, but I don't care. I grew up watching Bill Cosby. I watched Heathcliff Huxtable and Claire Huxtable constantly getting the work done, raising their kids, but showing affection, love, support, care, communication to one another on a weekly basis. I watched that, and it became part of my ethos of how you are supposed to be in a relationship, because that's what I watched. That's what I watched. Now, if I had watched the Jeffersons all the time, I'm watching a couple argue and fight most of the time, and then having to come back and apologize and do all that mess. If I'm watching Good Times, it's a similar situation, an angry black man with a praying wife, and they're always arguing, fighting, not much love between the two of them. If you're watching that all the time, then that's how you're going to think it's supposed to be. If you watch most black shows growing up, they show if somebody was dating one person, they went and dated the one person. The one person. I met you, I'm dating just you, and it's just you only. But if you watch white shows that are predominantly like Friends, then you saw them date this person and date that person. They're dating multiple people the whole time, which is why in our society, we have the mindset where white people will date multiple people until they find a person that they want to spend the majority of their time with, whereas black people date one person at a time. That's on the majority. It's a sociological impact that we don't even realize has happened, but that's what we do. That's how we function. One of my favorite movies, to which I may want to watch it tonight, which is Love Jones. If you watch the movie Love Jones, the main character, main protagonist male, does not have anyone he's dating. When he meets the main protagonist female, they only date each other. Every relational situation in that movie is one-on-one for the most part. I say every, I don't like finite words, but for the most part, they're one-on-one in this movie. But when you watch something, a movie that's predominantly white, you'll see that the person is dating 2 or 3 people at the same time, and then they realize how much love they have for the one person, and they want to develop that relationship with the one person. It's a dichotomy that we have in society that we have is ingrained in us, and we act it out on a daily basis. When I remember when me and my kid's mother first got divorced and I started dating, and I dated multiple people at the same time. Do you know that many black women were like, no, if you're dating 5, 6 people at the same time, then I want somebody who just focused on me. And I was like, but I just met you. I just met you. Why should I just push away? I just started dating, just got in this dating world. I was married for 17 years. I have no idea what it's like to date as an adult. It's my first time dating as an adult. So when one of my friends put me on one of those websites, and then all of a sudden there was like 15, 20 connections, why would I choose the one person first and not even explore the rest of the population? Now, of course, I didn't talk to 15 people at the same time. I narrowed it down to about 3, 4 people. But why would I just say, oh, I met you today, so just you? But the thought process of black people is the fact that you date the one person at a time. That you are not supposed to date multiple people. Otherwise, you're a whore, you're a slut, you are a player, you're all these different things. But really, the point here is that we have created these mindsets. And it's not a bad thing. But what I want you to understand is that you can control it for yourself. You can determine what for yourself. If you want to be more loving, watch more loving shows, more loving movies, read more loving stories. That will assist you in becoming more loving, because that's where your focus is. If you want to be more efficient, more business oriented, read books, watch videos and tapes and movies that shows that as an example. Whatever you put your focus on is what you're going to be. If you want to have a happy marriage, watch happy marriages. Pay attention to happy marriages, happy relationships. When you're focused on disruptive relationships, when you're watching the Kardashians, and you're watching Love and Hip Hop, and you're watching the Housewives, and you see all this anger and fussing and fighting and yelling and drama, then what do you think you're going to get in your relationship and in your life? Arguing, fussing, fighting, and drama. It's an amazing thing. The first season of the Atlanta Housewives, one of the housewives was Eric Snow and his wife. They were a peaceful, loving couple, and they kicked them off the show, or they left the show. I don't know if they kicked them off or they left, but one way or another, they weren't there that long. A couple that showed love like that did not remain. And I watched some of the other versions of that show. The ones that showed loving couple did not remain. It didn't remain. So my advice to you, if you want love, watch love, study love. That's why when we do a capacity map, if you become a personal coaching client with me and we will do a capacity map, one of the things that we look at is, what are you studying? What is your focus? Where is your attention? You can't say you want to be loving and you're not watching and studying love. You're watching and studying anger and fuss and fighting. You're not going to be loving. So watch and study love. What you study is what your results will show. All right, this is what your results show. So watch these other videos that I did about relationships, and I hope you guys take those in and take those lessons as well. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you. Continue to subscribe to the channel, and you can support the channel by also purchasing from Uncle Renz Popcorn. That's urpopcorn.com. Have a great day. Remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable.